Today, I've got rare access inside a Japanese fish market that most people never get to see. Usually, only wholesalers and licensed buyers are allowed in here. This is a side of Japan that normally stays completely hidden from the public. I genuinely don't know how I managed to pull myself out of bed at 3 a.m. The metro wasn't even running yet, so I had to zombie my way into a taxi across town just to get here. But while the rest of the world is still sound asleep, this place is already wide awake and operating at full capacity. There's a quiet intensity in the air that's honestly a little intimidating at first. Even at this ungodly hour, the level of focus is unbelievable. I mean, look at those blades. I wouldn't trust myself with a knife that size in the middle of the afternoon, let alone before sunrise. As I walk further into the market, I realise every section seems to specialise in a different underwater universe. Beyond the massive tuna, there is seafood everywhere. I'm seeing things I never knew existed, and honestly, a few things I'm still not entirely convinced are actually edible. I felt a whole lot more relaxed after meeting this next worker. He actually let me stand right there and watch him break down an entire bluefin tuna from start to finish. Though, to be fair, if a guy holding a meter-long sword tells you to stand somewhere, you don't really argue. Seeing the fish up close like this really puts it into perspective. These things are massive. Even just shifting it around the table looks like a full body workout. But what blew me away was how incredibly calm and focused he stayed the entire time. Every single slice is this perfect mix of speed and precision. I love this one specific detail where he slides the knife flat underneath the fish to lift and stabilize it while cutting. It's those tiny, effortless habits that make you realize just how many thousands of hours of experience are backing up every single movement. After a while, you forget you're looking at food preparation altogether. It feels a lot more like watching a craft that's been repeated so many times, it has just become pure instinct. Further into the market, I come across another worker tackling a tuna in a completely different style. Compared to the last guy's surgical precision, this feels a lot more aggressive and highly physical. The speed at which he's swinging that massive blade honestly had me sweating. I was slightly convinced the customer standing right in front of him was about to get accidentally skewered. But there's a method to the madness. He's fast tracking these huge blocks depending on exactly what each buyer needs. You really get the sense that reputation is everything here. One wrong cut, and you've ruined the client's entire day. In another section of the market, I find a worker focusing almost entirely on the tuna head. What surprised me the most was seeing him use a simple, bent spoon to remove the meat. It looked like something I find forgotten in the back of a kitchen drawer at home. But watching him work, you realise that there's probably a reason he still uses it after all these years. He carefully searches for a rare cut called no-ten, prized for its rich, buttery texture. What really stands out though, is how little is wasted. Leaving the quiet intensity of the fish market, I decided to head over to the public wholesale market nearby. The atmosphere didn't just change, it practically smacked me in the face. I went from a masterclass in anatomy to a masterclass in trying not to bump into anyone's grandmother. It's so incredibly busy that navigating the aisles is an understatement. It's more like a strategic survival game. It's slightly overwhelming, but honestly, in the best possible way. And just when I thought I was starting to understand Japanese ingredients, the market brought me right back down to earth. I kept spotting things I still couldn't even begin to identify. But hey, that's exactly what makes this fascinating. The further I walk, the more I realise how deeply connected seafood culture is to everyday life in Japan. After being awake since 3 a.m, my brain is officially in survival mode. That's when I spotted a busy stall selling takeaway okonomiyaki. Naturally, being surrounded by tons of fish, I go straight for the fresh squid version. It's served piping hot straight from the griddle. The squid is perfectly soft, and the sauce is a beautiful, messy mix of sweet and savoury. At this level of sleep deprivation, it didn't just taste good, it felt like a life-saving culinary miracle. The sun is finally starting to rise, and the market is beginning to slow down. I'm absolutely exhausted, but getting to experience this hidden side of Japan makes the early start completely worth it. I'm going home to get some sleep, and I'll see you in the next one.